Good morning, everyone. I'm Jenny. Thanks for tuning in as always. Now, on today, we're going to be talking about what is coming up for this week's daily vibes. So, I'm going to be giving you some predictions for your astrology, for your zodiac signs. What could you guys be going through and facing? Like, we are in the eclipse and have been in this eclipse energy, like, oh my gosh, since the beginning of March. We have Mercury retrograde, the wrath of Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, and also St. Patrick's Day. So there is a lot going on. That's why I thought I'd wear my little St. Patty's Day hat, of course. And my background actually is my photography. So I took this picture and I thought, because it's green, St. Patty's Day, we're moving into the spring. You can follow me on, my photography account if you want, Jeni Ji Photography on Instagram. Personal accounts, Jeni Ji Cousins. I'll follow you right back, right? So now let's talk about what's coming up. Like some of you have already seen, like if you've been following my weekly Cosmic Vibes videos, you can always go back and even watch the videos because you are going to see, like, you're going to be like, wow, that's why that happened. And how did you know all of these things? Because these energies are super, super, super powerful. We still have, and you will be feeling that full moon energy that came in, right? On the 14th, you're still going to be feeling that right now. So, with these cosmic events, how many of you have had unexpected news, shocking news, expect the unexpected already? I sure have. Results came in for my biopsy, and I'm like, oh my God. So, it's time to take action and deal with what we have to deal with and so on. Don't ignore situations. Like as I mentioned before, as we were leading into the eclipse, don't ignore what you know that you had to resolve or work through or end or begin, right? Because if you have ignored and pushed things under the rug, this is when you get that rude awakening. Like things happen for a reason, and you will see, some of you will see the synchronicity events. Like even my surgery, it got moved up suddenly that, the surgeons call, hey, we'd like to see you sooner. Can you come in? And I'm like, what? Okay. So that happened in February. And, I can tell you, I have to go back in for surgery again because of the results of the biopsy and so on and so on. So certain events happen and really pay attention. That's what I'm saying. That is what I am saying. It can be life-changing events. There's a huge transformation going on right now. So you might find that your sleep is a little off, of course. It has been off. This equinox season is coming in, springtime, depending where you are, of course, which brings huge transformation. The equinox can bring new beginnings, especially in relationships. So certain relationships have been going through transformation, like that full moon eclipse and so on. Boom, all of a sudden things ended, relationships ended. And relationships are like business, partnerships, friendships, your partner, marriages, things like that. So if you take a look back, geez, who is I struggling with? You're very well going to see that even more and more and more. So with this Mercury retrograde, we had that pre-shadow come in beginning of March and so on. So with this retrograde happening officially on the 7th or the 15th, there's been people from your past coming back, reaching out to you, or maybe you're like, I got to get a hold of my person or my friend or whoever it is. And yeah, I've been thinking of them. And really pay attention to all of a sudden when you're like, I got to reach out to that person. I don't know why, but I got to reach out to them. And you could find that all of a sudden, oh my God, I had no idea you're going through that. Or, wow, what changes? Or, things like that. Really pay attention to that inner voice because this with Mercury retrograde as well, with the Venus retrograde, the eclipse, and so on, it's really giving you this time right now to reset things, restructure things, revamp things. Really important, as I've been mentioning, to focus on health. It's like all of those appointments that I talked about before that I was avoiding, that I didn't want to go through. I purposely book them because I'm like, I know I have to deal with this. Do we want to deal with uncomfortable situations? No, nobody does. You cannot ignore it. You cannot. This eclipse brought things to the surface and will continue bringing things to the surface, what was hidden, right? What was hidden from your eyes that you're like, oh my God, now, wow, I'm seeing this or I'm seeing that. Pay attention, don't ignore it. Things can happen very quickly right now, very quickly. All of a sudden, boom, we want you in here. You need to deal with this right now. Pay attention because you can resolve those issues. You can really resolve these situations. You're also resolving past karmic situations. Could be with people, relationships, jobs, like whatever it is. We all have things, or we've said or we've done different things. We're like, wow, I wished I would have done this, or I wished I would have got it sooner, or why did I, say this or that, like whatever it is. This is a time where the eclipse is like, hey, we really want to work with you if you work with us. Like I keep saying that. So you're going to find that, geez, I sent this message and they didn't get it. This is Mercury retrograde. So when you're sending a message, make sure you're like, okay, is that the right person? Make sure it's like, okay, let me reread what I want to say before sending it. Because you might find that when you send it and then you go back to your sent folder, you're like, I didn't say that. Or, oh my gosh, I sent it to the wrong person. Look in your junk folder or your spam folder too, because certain messages get lost and so on. I didn't get that message from you. Go in your junk and spam folders as well, and you can always contact that person. Hey, I just sent this message to you. I just need to confirm that you actually did get it. Really pay attention to that too, because electrical, technical issues as well, delays, right? And with the eclipse, as I mentioned before, it can bring on huge weather disruptions, major things. That's how powerful it is. Super, super powerful. And it can also all of a sudden work with you, abracadabra. You know what? That is now resolved. That issue that you were like stressed out about or fearful about, this is now resolved because you were dealing with this. you know, things like that. You could be like, oh my gosh, I thought this and this was going to happen. And then the eclipse is like, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. That matter that you were worried about or stressed about, or that you are healing from, you don't have to worry. It's now flowing. So when you look back, it can be really hard to look back, but when you do look back, you're going to be like, I get it. Now I know why that happened now. Now I know I had to go through that. Now I know why this ended, because new doors are opening up for you. So really pay attention, you guys, right? Healing, healing. A lot of you, like some of you have been going through, a lot of emotional things, and you've been healing through situations, no matter in what way. Allow that to go, because we are moving into Aries season. Happy birthday to my fellow Aries, right? Equinox season, Aries season, and so on. You're going to find that this is like new, fresh energy coming in. Spring season, spring cleaning, decluttering, right? New beginnings, new relationships can start blooming in spring season. Just don't rush into anything right now, because with Mercury retrograde, it's the time to slow down. This Venus retrograde too can end relationships. It's very karmic. Like this is a very, very karmic time. If you look back to July, August, and September 2023, certain events of similar situations might be coming up or have been coming up right now. And you can be like, wow, I got to end this relationship. Or, wow, that happened then. Now I can revamp things. You're going to be cutting karmic ties as well. So karmic relationships that were toxic or that weren't working, you're going to be like, that's it. I need to end this now. The universe works with you when you work with the energies. So unexpectedly, oh my gosh, my person they ended my relationship with me, or I know I have to end that relationship with me. Expect the unexpected is going to continue on, shocking truths, and so on and so on. Maybe you found out your person was having an affair. Like I'm just saying, I'm just saying certain things are coming to the process right now. So that's why you could be like, I didn't see that coming, Jeni. Yes, of course. Even the news I got, I'm like, I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised, right? And it's just like, what? What? So deal with things, don't run from things right now, right? Because you might even find like during the 15th and such, like during Mercury retrograde, you could be like, you know what, let's just slow down. Let me fix this situation. Let me resolve this situation. And when you're signing new contracts, be very careful what you're signing. Like if you've been like just renewing something, or if you're like in a legal pursuit, and your final papers and stuff, that's perfectly okay and everything like that, of course, right? But if it's something brand new, just be very cautious of, I don't know, get like somebody to read through the contract or the agreement or something, and so you know exactly what you're getting involved with before officially signing off, right? Because there's new beginnings, as I mentioned. So you might even find like, like even on the 16th and the 17th, even with St. Patty's Day, some of you are going out and celebrating St. Patrick's Day and so on. I remember when I was living over in Ireland, they celebrated for like a week, and it's a huge celebration and stuff like that, right? My dad was born and raised in Ireland. I was living over there and I moved back to Canada, and such like that. So you might find like, you know what, I just need some space right now. I need time to meditate and reflect and just some quiet time. So you might be even start to do even more research during that time with something you're drawn to or something you want to make change for. You very well could see how things are really, even coming more into place. So you might see certain synchronicity. Wow, now I know why this is happening, or that happened, so I can get this done and out of the way so I can move on with my life to open up new doors as well. So that's why it's like certain things come to the forces, like hidden things that were hidden. If it's results, if it's like a relationship, if it's like a job, whatever it is, you're going to be like, wow, that came up, right? You can't run from this. So you're going to be making some changes with, like friendships, relationships, and all of that too. So you might be really sitting back then and, especially even on the 18th and 19th, and just reviewing who are real friends, who hasn't been there for you, who is just brushing you aside, like whatever it is. So you're really going to be reviewing a lot. And it's important to really embrace change. We can't control certain things. The only thing you can control is you making the decision. Changing whatever it is that you want to change from within yourself, um, no matter what it is, but you can't control other things, the way things go. And really make sure you're listening to your heart. What feels right for you? Like whenever I'm saying create a vision board and goals and short goals and all of those things, long-term goals, write down what you want to change and what your goals are. Oh, but Jeni, I have to add my person on. I would not do that, because your person, let's say as an example, or the person you want to be with, they have their own journey as well. So focus on your goals specifically for you, right? If, like relationships, your person will probably be a part of that anyways, but focus on you and your goals and such like this, because you're going to be ending business contacts. You're going to be ending contracts. You're going to be ending relationships in general, and so on and so on. You're going to be more focused on, because what you're doing right now, you're going to see more results in the autumn and the fall. That's coming up, like October, November, depends what season you're in, right? So what you're working on now, getting done and out of the way, it brings on new beginnings for the autumn. or October, the September is in the other big eclipse and so on. Like there's a lot of life-changing things happening right now. So what's coming up for you guys even more so on like this 18th and the 19th for like Zodiac? Like what could you guys be expecting in such like Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo? You are going to be questioning even more so those relationships, more closer relationships and bonds you have with other people. You could be like, I got to end that. I got to end this connection or no matter what it is. So you could be feeling that even more intensely, right? Like with Gemini, you're going to be like, I got to make some decisions here on love, more romantic relationships. Like, oh, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Just slow down. As I always say to everybody when making a decisions and stuff, when you have made a decision and you're feeling more at peace with it, no matter what it is, you're going to know you've made the right decision. So you could be more at conflict, just break down the pros and the cons with whatever it is and so on. Where if you're Sagittarius, you could be feeling a lot more restless. Like I want more freedom right now. I'm feeling really trapped. God, what do I need to do? I'm just so your head could be there. Slow down again. So with we're Pisces, you could have more of like fears of committing, like commitment. If it's committing to a relationship, if it's committing to like a business contract, if it's committing to yourself, like whatever it is, commitment is the key theme to you. Fears of it, fears. Face your fears, especially with this eclipse. I'm telling you, like don't sweep things under the rug, and that's for anybody. But just really one breath in, one breath out. And if you're a Virgo, you're going to find that I'm giving and giving and giving to this relationship, to this, and I'm not like feeling it coming back. So you could feel out of balance because it's really important that when like you're giving, I have a big heart myself. I give things away. I do readings, like for free here and there and just certain things. But I'm like, if I'm always the one giving and giving, I'm not going to get receiving. I'm not going to be receiving back because the universe is like, well, they're not open to receiving anything because they're giving constantly, constantly, constantly. So you have to balance things out. You really do. You really do. So Aries and Leo, you're going to find that you're going to want more independence. You could find like, I need to break free from this relationship. I just can't do it anymore. I'm feeling trapped. Things aren't working. Like, I need to make these changes. Make the change. This eclipse will work with you. You're going to want like more independence. I just need my space. I need to work on myself. Or maybe you're feeling if you're at a job, I can't give all my energy to my job anymore. I need my space for me. So this is the time when you have to be really patient and really pay attention to what it is that you need to face that's uncomfortable, right? When you do that, things will work with you. This eclipse energy will work with you. Don't ignore what is being shown to you, for goodness sakes. Resolve things now. This is the time to do it. You're going to want balance, you guys. You're going to want to, like, I've had enough of this and this and that. Whew, I need to heal from this situation. Maybe there's a death, that you're still healing from, or a traumatic situation, inner child healing, right? So this is why, like you're going to find that you're going to want to take time out for you. So, and really look back onto, December 2024, like what was happening then that month? You're going to want to reflect back on that. What did you learn from that? Where are you now? There's certain decisions you made in December. You could be seeing that coming through now as well. So as we're moving into this equinox season, you guys, Aries season, new beginnings and such. If you're an Aries, you're going to want to really like step into your power. You're going to be like, I've had enough of this. I'm confronting this situation. Be brave and make that decision. Whatever it is you need to make that decision of that you've been brushing aside, face it, stand up, be brave. You will see that you will make that decision and you will confront situations that you know that you've been avoiding to do. If you're a Leo, you're going to be pursuing your dreams more. You're going to feel a little bit more emotional, but it could be a little emotional for you. You know, as I said, it could be like intense. So, you know, I always write down goals, as I mentioned, you know, short term, long term, and so on. And when we're looking at reality with things with goals, we can't get emotional because we're like, wow, in order for me to attain my goal, let's say, I got to change this, I got to change that, or I have to end this, or I have to begin this, right? Follow your dreams always, but be very specific what you want. So, you know, as I mentioned with Sagittarius, you're going to keep on wanting to break away from what's restricting you. You could be like, oh, I can't deal with this anymore. Like I'm feeling like tied down and restricted. You're going to break free from that situation. Where if you're a Capricorn or Cancer or Libra, you could finding that could be like that equinox can be like a lot of tension coming to the surface with things. You're going to be like, I've had enough of this and I've had enough of that. You know, be very careful when you're making decisions as well, right? Because you will start facing what is uncomfortable, like what is not working. You're going to find that you're going to really start facing that. You know, it's really important to do that. So yeah. Or if you're Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, you're going to be questioning everything. Like you're going to be like, wait a minute, start writing down. Sometimes when we overthink, it's the hamster wheel, as I always call it. Start writing down what it's like. Okay, what is not working? What is not working? Write it down. Don't worry about the solution as much right now or how to solve things. Just start writing things down. This isn't working, that isn't working, and so on and so on. Because for every problem, there is a solution. If you face it, if you run from it, it follows you and it gets worse and worse and worse. So it can be a really intense time for you. So you might find that you're going to start like withdrawing, especially if you're a Scorpio, like, oh, I just need to withdraw from this situation. You know, really take a look at what you're passionate about. You could be unbalanced. I'm giving all my passion to this person or my goal or this or this or that. You might find that suddenly you're just starting to withdraw from it. Just slow down. You can revamp things in that. Don't make no rash decisions. Where if you're Taurus, you could be looking and examining more things financially. Like, oh my gosh, like are things going to come together? How am I going to get money for this? How am I going to pay for that? Like whatever it is. So that can be a little intense for you. Just baby steps, one step at a time, and so on and so on. Or if you're Aquarius, you could be feeling a lot more disconnected from things and situations, your goals, uncertainty, and such. That's what I'm saying. You guys might want to find that I need some space, I need some time for myself, I need some quiet time, right? Like I will literally have my phone on mute where I'm like, you know what, I don't need to hear my phone ding, 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 ding every minute. So I'll check messages and such, right? So this is the time to kind of really reflect back because there's going to be more shocking truths. But again, that's nothing new. That is nothing new, right? It's not. However, there's going to be a lot more unexpected, expect the unexpected that has happened and it's going to continue on. That eclipse goes to mid-April, like, you know, 6th or 7th or somewhere around there. So things are going to be continuing. Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and so on and so on and so on. So don't push anything. You know, take a look back onto March and April 2017, if you can remember as well, what was going on. There could be some similar themes coming on. And also March 2009, 2009, if you can remember what was going on. There's similar themes. The eclipse brings up similar themes with situations. I was reflecting back and I'm like, oh my God, that makes sense. Like, oh my God, oh yes, of course. No wonder, no wonder. And it's like, just pay attention to what you learned back then. What was going on? What did you learn from it? How did you work through it and so on? Like sometimes we rush into something too quickly and we're like, oh my God. This gives you that time to slow down and really pay attention to, okay, I got to handle this differently now. Face your fears, honestly. I sure the heck have. I have no choice, but that's the thing. Be very careful, very careful. Seriously, right? Things will work itself out. You will look back and you will see, like as I'm saying, you will see, okay, all of these things are happening right now. Yeah, yeah, of course. Boom, 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 dee boom. So really pay attention and work through it. Really work through it. Like whenever we make changes and such like that, it can shock certain people with your decisions and stuff, but you have to do what's best for yourself, right? No matter what. So let's have a little chat here with the cards. I don't use cards when I'm doing a reading with somebody because I'm clairvoyant, psychic, past life, Akashic records, animal communicator, all of those kinds of things, right? But because we're doing this on YouTube here, I'm going to pull a couple of cards. You guys are not all going to be like, well, I don't resonate with that. Well, of course you won't. It's not for everybody for this card. However, if you do resonate with the card, this message is more designed for you. There's a message. I was listening to um, something the other day, right, myself, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is pretty boring. However, I was just going to turn off this video. And at the very last second, I'm like, you know what? Just give it a few more seconds or a minute. The very last second, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Exactly what I needed to hear. So no matter the stress of that, I'm like, oh my God, thank you, Spirit. That's the message I needed. So, anyways, so because we have Venus energy, we have people from the past coming back and certain things. I'm going to be pulling a card from the Love deck, Romance Angels, by Doreen Virtue. So let's see what messages for you from the universe. From the 15th to the 21st of March, like mid-March already, right? So we're starting the new year, new season with Aries, by the way. That's why when people, let's say, do zodiac readings or certain astrologers, they start with Aries, with that energy. So January, February is leftovers from 2024, as I call it, right? Clearing things, resolving things, so you can actually move into the new year, right? So that's my surgery's on the 1st as well, of course, baby. And it's not an April Fool's joke by any means. Like, oh, I don't even want to think of that. More surgery. However, it is what it is. So what is the message? 15th to the 21st. 15th to the 21st. What is the message? This equinox, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, St. Patty's Day, chemistry. Ooh, there is a strong magnetic attraction here. Yes. So speaking of Venus energy, right? So you might find that person that you had your eye on, all of a sudden, unexpectedly, they're single now. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Maybe that person reaches out to you, sends you an unexpected message. I'm just saying. Maybe you're like, I want to reach out to that person, but just don't rush anything. If you guys are starting new relationships, do not rush because Mercury retrograde is not the time to start a brand new relationship. If you want to kind of get to know the person, please go slow right now because with the eclipse, retrogrades, and so on, things can kind of like go different directions. Just take your time, no rushing in. I mean, if it's somebody you know and stuff like that, that's a different story, right? But springtime opens new doors, new love, and all of those things. Don't rush, don't rush, don't rush. By the time we get past this, all of this, things will be different. Life-changing different can be for some of you. Okay, so let's pull a card from the animal world as well. I'm also an animal communicator. Divine Animals Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Message from the animal kingdom, March 15th to 21st. Message from the animal kingdom. Message from the animal kingdom. Oh, beaver. Now the beaver's all about work. So if you pay attention to like what does the beaver do? They build it, like the dam, they build their home and so on and so on and so on. So this opportunity here with the beaver, some of you might be making changes with your career. You could be like, this isn't working. So that's what I'm saying. Pay attention to what's not working, or, I got to put more work into this project, or maybe I need to revamp this or reset this. Mercury retrograde gives you that opportunity to reset, to revamp. That's why the retrograde is a time to revalue things. And revalue things is relationships, work balance, like whatever it is, all of these things that you need to pay attention to. So right now, that beaver message for you is like, this is work connected. Maybe you're gonna like, my job isn't working out for me anymore. My career isn't working out for me. Like whatever it is, right? Maybe some of you have got all of a sudden that promotion from your job. If you've been putting in the work, maybe that work that, on the last video, what you were working on 6 months ago, you would have start seeing the results now from what it is you started back then, and so on and so on. So, I mean, this is not the time to rush this year. This is a year more so to make long-term goals than short-term goals right now. Right? We can still work towards our goals and so on, but be very, very kind of careful, right? So let's have a talk with the past life cards. I do past life Akashic records as well. Past life adoring virtue. Here's the deck. But be just very in awareness, but because people from the past are coming back, it doesn't mean that they have changed. So when there was toxic relationships in the past, be very careful, because you could repeat that cycle again. This is a very karmic time. You could have people from your past coming back that are asking for forgiveness, or maybe, you want to forgive whatever it is or apologize and so on. So just be very careful, like people can change, of course. They're like, you know what? I wanted to apologize to you or whatever like that. Can we have a new beginning? If it's whoever it is, relationships in general, that is up to you. That is up to you. There's certain people I will invite back in, but there's certain people I will not, depending on circumstances. So choice is yours. So the 15th to the 21st, what is the message? We have solar flares. So you might find that headache, anxiety, or your digestive system was off. You're not as hungry. You could have like hot flashes, as I call it, cold and hot, right? Headaches, all of that kind of thing. Just make sure you're drinking a lot more water, and it can cause disturbances with everything, right? Weather disruptions with the eclipse, solar flares, and oh my God, like holy crap, right? All right, so this is a really interesting thing. How many of you have been wanting a baby? Maybe some of you are found out that you're pregnant. Maybe some of you found out that somebody else is having a baby, right? Babies are also what? Rebirth. You're rebirthing yourself. Maybe some of you are healing that inner child. Maybe some of you have been too serious, and the universe is like, come on, lighten up, go out and have some fun, right? Get some laughter. Maybe some of you are like, wanting, like, look back to activities that you used to really like. If it's like drawing or coloring or going on swing sets, or maybe it's like, when was the last time you really, really, really had fun and laughed and all of that? Enhance your inner child. Maybe some of you are, like, as I mentioned, you're healing your inner child. Maybe some of you are having fertility issues, and you're like, now I need to really book an appointment to get certain things looked at, right? Because Mercury retrograde, of course, is all very health and wellness connected. This is the time when you do want to be working on your health and wellness even more and more and more and more, whatever it is. If it's something small or something major and so on, maybe something that you didn't realize booms come to the surface and you're like, oh my gosh, right? So now is the time to resolve situations. You know, maybe some of you you're having a baby this month, or maybe some of you are like, you know what, I'm ready now to have it. Maybe some of you are going to hear from your children that you haven't heard from for a while, or whatever like that. Like there's, you know, so many different things. You know, look at the new like the new baby, like newborn, rebirth, all of that kind of such, right? So I'm not going to pull any more cards. I just wanted to see how you guys are all doing. I'm not going to be doing free readings this month because of my surgery and stuff like that that I have to deal with and resolve and stuff. So I just want to get that kind of done and out of the way, and just to kind of see where I'm at with that. It'll go either way. So, you know, but you got to stay positive. You got to stay positive no matter what has been brought to the surface. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, like the video, make some comments, let me know what's going on with you guys, and so on and so on. Follow me on Instagram. You know, you'll see different posts up there as well, and I will follow you right back. Alrighty. So enhance this energy right now and let's transform and make this happen. Namaste.